What's going on, everyone? So Max Christie and the Los Angeles Lakers are expected to have a big role, right? Max Christie is expected to really shine this year. And based on his performance in the Summer League, which I get it, it's Summer League, but you really saw the improvements. You really saw the strides. You saw he was the best. He was clearly the best player on the court. Like, he looked like a guy that clearly didn't belong out there. He was just coasting out there, just trying not to get hurt and absolutely dominating, right? This is a guy that really the Lakers are extremely high on and truly believe that he's going to be he has the most likely potential to be the next great Laker, right? He's still extremely young. He is only going to continue to grow and develop. He shot 42% from three last year, although very small sample size, but already looked like he has elite level defense for an NBA player. Great instincts. He gets after it. He works hard. He hustles. He's on the ball. Like, he has all the tools to be an elite two-way player. Now, will he? Time will tell, right? You know, it's his second year. He still has a lot of growth, a lot of development. He's extremely young still. As I mentioned, he's only 20 years old. But he grew an inch or two. He's 6'6", 6'7" now, which is nice, right? So that only should help him. He's continued to work on his shot. He's continued to work on his game. And the Lakers have said repeatedly that they plan on him having a big role for the Lakers, and they really look at him as the backup two guard behind Austin Reeves. My guess, and this is just my guess, but I think it's a very educated guess, is D'Lo, Austin Reeves, probably Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. That's what I think the starting five will be. And then you look at the bench, and it'll be probably Gabe Vincent, Max Christie. You have Rui Hachimura at the 4, Jackson Hayes at the 5, and then Taurean Prince, or maybe they go Cam Reddish, something like that, at the 3. That's kind of where my head is at. But the beauty is this Lakers roster has so much depth, has so much talent. But out of all the positions, obviously the Lakers still need the center spot. But the one spot that really is open is that backup shooting guard position. Now, the Lakers aren't like so desperate for a shooting guard. It's like, oh, we got to pick somebody up, right? No, you have Austin Reeves who could start. D'Angelo Russell could easily just shift over to be the shooting guard. Taurean Prince at 6'7", he could easily shift over to the shooting guard. He's played the 3 a lot his career. And today's NBA, the 2 and the 3 is not that different. Same thing, guard the guy in front of you, hit 3-point shots. There you go, right? Like, it's not rocket science. More than capable of doing that. Cam Reddish is a guy that could easily play the 2 guard. You could always move Gabe Vincent over to the 2, although he'd be a little undersized. Something you could do. But that's wide open for Max Christie, right? Max Christie could absolutely get, I think, 15 to 20 minutes a game playing the 2 and maybe even the 3 in some spots, right? Especially if he really is like 6'7", 6'6", 6'7". I mean, in today's NBA, you have a lot of power forwards that are like 6'6". So to think you can't have like a 6'6", 6'7", Max Christie play the 3, you absolutely can, right? So I do think that there is a lot of potential and opportunity for Max Christie. He just has to put in the effort. He has to put in the work, and he has to show and earn that in training camp. It's not going to be just given to him. And I do think that there is a level of pressure on Max Christie, and I do think it is slightly amplified because of Austin Reeves. Now, just like Max Christie is going into year 2, Austin Reeves, we saw his just renaissance. We saw his just emergence and into stardom, really. I think people throw out the star term and the superstar term way too freely. I don't think Austin Reeves is a star level player yet. That doesn't mean he can't get there. But as far as the attention goes, he absolutely, he's been just thrusted into this. And it's because of that just out of left field level of play. And then he goes to Team USA and just continues and picks up right where he left off, right? And then that just shows so much promise for this upcoming season. And Austin Reeves is going to have, in my opinion, I think he'll end up having the biggest role out of everybody on the Lakers throughout the season, just because of his versatility, playing point guard, playing shooting guard. I also think that they're going to want to keep LeBron and AD's minutes low. Austin Reeves doesn't have all this crazy mileage on him, right? He's a guy that just has so much versatility. He's that gap player, playing with the bench unit, playing with the starters. I'm not saying he's going to play like 40 minutes a game or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised if like everybody's playing like 30 minutes a game and Austin Reeves is like the one like 35-minute a game guy. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But I do think that there is this level of expectation of like, Austin Reeves did it, so why can't Max Christie do it this year? Right? But there's a couple things that go into that, right? Austin Reeves didn't do that until injuries, right? When LeBron went down, Austin Reeves was able to step in and really emerged, right? And he really delivered and lived up to and earned that spot. But if LeBron doesn't go down and all of the circumstances that develop that gave Austin Reeves the chance don't happen, we're probably not talking about Austin Reeves. Not to the level in which we're talking to him about right now, where it's like, dude, this guy could be an all-star this year, or at least all-star level player this year, right? Like, again, just because you don't make an all-star team doesn't mean that you're not an all-star level player. Every year there's, 5 guys that are, on the all-snub team, right? Like, because it's like these guys just deserve to be an all-star, but there's only so many spots, especially in the Western Conference with all the guards and stuff like that. Austin Reeves would have to basically average 38 and 8 for him to make an all-star appearance. But that doesn't mean that he can't be an all-star level guy. If he's a 25 and 5 guy, that's all-star, right? Like, and so I do think that we need to keep in mind the circumstances that Austin Reeves kind of fell in that allowed him to blossom. You got to give Reeves the credit because he took advantage of that opportunity and he deserved it. Another thing is that Austin Reeves also wasn't 20 years old. One of the reasons the Lakers liked Austin Reeves so much is because he had a level of maturity and he had a level of experience, right? Max Christie's a 20-year-old kid. The Lakers could spend the next 5 years developing Max Christie and he would be Austin Reeves' age, right? Like that's a big difference, right? But he has the tools to, if given the opportunity, I do think could make that next step. Now, will he? I don't know. We'll see. One, if he gets that opportunity, because him being the backup shooting guard and playing, 15 minutes a game, right? That's not really necessarily the opportunity. Also, even if he is, right? Like, let's say there is a circumstance where, knock on wood, I hope this doesn't happen, but let's say there is a circumstance where Max Christie ends up having to play like 30 minutes a game for like a 10-game stretch. And he's just killing. He's like 25 points a game. He's just locked down defensively. He's looking like he's the next thing, right? And then everybody gets healthy and stuff like that. Do the Lakers move him to the starting 2 guard? Right? Because, again, you could just shift Austin Reeves to the point. Right? Or do the Lakers look at it and go, do we really want to trust a 20-year-old kid? Yes, that he is really dominating here in the regular season, but come playoff time, do we really want Max Christie playing 30 minutes a game when we're trying to win an NBA championship here? Because experience, things like that go a long way. Or would we rather trust, an Austin Reeves and a Gabe Vincent, or an Austin Reeves and a D'Angelo Russell, and a Taurean Prince, and, obviously LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Rui Hachimura, and Jared Vanderbilt, guys that actually have played, guys that have actually been there, guys that were, part of the run last year, that were in the conference finals. That doesn't mean that Max Christie doesn't play, but does Max Christie get the opportunity that Austin Reeves does, even if the opportunity does present itself at some point and Max Christie capitalizes on it? The circumstance last year was far different than the one this year, right? Like the Lakers were in a spot, right? And then even then, when the Lakers made all the trades that they made, it made sense for Austin Reeves to play the 2 guard. Right? And to his credit, he delivered and he was great. Right? Now, the difference is Max Christie, if you have the same roster you have going to the playoffs, Unless Max Christie's just really that good, where it's like, all right, this dude is like, he's playing like top 10 player in the league level, right? Then I still think it's probably in the Lakers' best interest to keep him on as a reserve role because of his age, because of his lack of experience. Now, yes, at some point you're going to have to throw him into the fire and you're going to have to give him that experience. But if the Lakers are a playoff team for the next, 3 years before Max Christie really evolves into that starting shooting guard, right? Then he's going to get that experience. He's going to get that opportunity, right? And that doesn't mean you don't stick with it. Like, let's say you're playing, I don't know, whomever. Let's say you're playing, the Clippers, right? And you're in the playoffs. And you put Max Christie in, and he's just torching them. And they just seem to have no answer for Max Christie. Keep him in the game. Leave him. Right? But when you go into the position to where you're starting him, you're putting this pressure on him in an environment that he's not familiar with. And there is this level of expectation of you have to deliver. And there is this level of expectation that, like, you need to stick with him, right? It was like one of the things, like with D'Lo. Like, a lot of people were like, you need to stop starting D'Lo, like in that Denver series stuff. But it's like, he's been the starter. He's been big for you all through the playoffs. He is a big factor for this Lakers roster. And it's like, if you get him going, you probably win. And unfortunately, they weren't able to get him going. He wasn't able to get himself going. But there is this level of expectation when you're a starter of you got to stick with them. You got to have the continuity. You got to keep the chemistry. You got to keep the guys that got you here. Right? So I don't think that there is this insurmountable pressure on Max Christie, but I can see there being this narrative of, if Max Christie doesn't emerge to the level that Austin Reeves did, of like, is Max Christie the guy? Is he ready? Right? Like, if he has a bad game here and there and he plays 20 minutes, I can see the narrative of like, did the Lakers get again, he's 20 years old. He has an entire career ahead of him. He is in year 2. Not every player, year 2, emerge into being this superstar, right? Not every year in year 2, guys develop into like the starting level player talent, especially on a contender. Like, if the Lakers were this, play-in team, or they were this, tanking team where they just weren't a very good team, then yeah, Max Christie probably would play a ton. He'd probably be the starter and whatnot. But that's not the situation at hand. The Lakers have a real contending roster, trying to win an NBA championship. Last thing they're thinking about is, we got to make sure we get Max Christie, 20 minutes a game. No. They're thinking, we need to go win this NBA championship. Now, if Max Christie performs and plays to the level that he can, again, 6'6", 6'7", he's got like a 6'9", 6'10" wingspan, right? Shoot the ball, can defend, do a little bit of everything. Right? Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could have that opportunity and develop into that player. And maybe the Lakers do. Maybe Darvin Ham does give him that chance. Like, Darvin Ham likes to reward his players by performing, right? We've seen him do that. But, time will tell. I just don't want this crazy expectation of like, that's it. He has to be the guy, right? I mean, look at guys like, even like Kobe Bryant. Right? Year 2, he played 79 games, started 1 game, played 26 minutes, and averaged 15 points. Right? It wasn't until, year 3 that all of a sudden he's a 20-point-a-game guy, and then year 4, and so on, he evolved into the Kobe that he was. Right? Like, we got to keep things in perspective. Right? And, when Kobe came to the Lakers, they were a team that were trying to win NBA championships, right? It was a team that, like, okay, we believe that this roster can win. We got this young guy 18, 19 years old, right? It's a similar situation. The Lakers, they got LeBron James, they got Anthony Davis. The goal is not to develop the 19-year-old kid or the 20-year-old kid. The goal is to go and win an NBA championship. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Max Christie has that emergence? Do you think even if he does, the Lakers don't really kind of thrust him into like the position that they did with Austin Reeves? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.